Now this is a story all about how my life got flipped, turned upside down, and I'd like to take a minute, just sit right there. I'll tell you how I became a princess. I almost got scammed $10,000, maxed out my credit card, and got kicked out of school. Let go. What up, YouTube fam? It's Blossom the Creativist, and I know it's been a while, but I was in Nigeria, so I'm sorry. There are a couple of things that happened in Nigeria that affected my grade, my good standing here in Mercer, so I had to tend to those things first. Unfortunately, I had to put YouTube on the back burner, but I'm here now. I'm here to share with you guys that the devil is real. Like, the devil, he's a real person. I want to share with you guys how I experienced in real life the serpentry of the devil. My mom bought tickets to Nigeria worth about $10,000 because there's a lot of people in our family. She bought them last year. Our plan was to go from Atlanta to DC and then to go on the planes because Atlanta is one of the busiest airports in the world. Of course, their prices are going to be a lot more expensive. So the bus ride we took from Atlanta to DC was about maybe 8-9 hours. It wasn't really that bad because we had Wi-Fi and we also had places to charge our laptops, well, our phones. So it really wasn't that bad. I mean, of course, you got a couple of people that didn't know how to cover their mouth with their elbow when they sneezed. But the worst part about the plane ride was when we touched base in DC. Our travel agent told us that our flight, which was going to be leaving tomorrow, got canceled. So I'm just going to paint a picture for you guys. Imagine you're with your 6-member family in a place hundreds of miles away from home, and your travel agent just says that the place where you're supposed to go, it's not going. You're not going there no more. Not right now. So all these months worth of packing and preparing for this trip out of the country, this country that you haven't seen in 12 good years, is down the drain because your flight got canceled. I'm pretty sure you can hypothesize the amount of misery we were experiencing at that time. The amount of overwhelming stress, brewing frustration that we were accepting. What we gonna do? We don't have no house in DC, so we was trapped. We was homeless. Okay, we weren't exactly homeless because we did have some place of shelter. Our grandmother's retirement home. So of course we were in our feelings, but we wanted to make sure that that travel agent was looking for another flight because we did not pack all this stuff and endure that 8-hour car bus ride for no reason. We didn't sign out of school early for no reason. We were determined to go to Nigeria. So he would help us. He would call us and tell us about updates on the next flight, blah blah blah. Sometimes we would call him though, just for an update, and he wouldn't respond. It would go straight to voicemail, like he clicked declined on us. And then after a while, he resorted to only texting. So we would call him, but he wouldn't respond. And then hours later, he would send us a text of what's going on, any updates. And most of the times there were no updates. Like, he was still looking, but he couldn't find any extra plane, any extra flight that we could just hop on at the last minute. And then it started to become dark. Like, it was probably like 5, 6, or 7 o'clock at night, and we realized that he wasn't really returning anything. It was like he signed off. It was like he went up and left the office at 5 o'clock, like, oh y'all, I know y'all stranded, but I gotta go home. So then after a while of not hearing from him and staying nearly a whole day in DC without knowing about what's gonna happen tomorrow, we were filled with suspicion. This man said that he booked the ticket for our specific date, and then immediately when we arrived in DC, all of a sudden those tickets, that flight was canceled. It almost seemed like he didn't even book the tickets at all. And that really hurt us. That was over $10,000 worth of tickets and packing for a month-long trip down the trash, down the drain. Like, you have to be possessed by a very special demon to be doing that to our family. Like, why? And then what made it worse was that he was African. Like, it all makes sense. Not all Africans are scammers, but it made and a white person would not have done this. We were thinking like a white person would never have done this to us. Like, this man scammed us $10,000. And then my mom also told her friends in Georgia, and they also felt sorry for us. But one of my mom's friends said, you know, it doesn't feel right. Why would he want to be helping us if he was trying to scam us? Like, she got that the day was over, but he was consistently really trying to help us. So maybe we could just hold on for tomorrow, and when he comes back into the office, and see what his reaction is that next day when he has to help us. So we tried the next day. We kept calling, and you know, he responded back with us. Sometimes they were rejected as usual, but sometimes he would be texting us updates. Sometimes he would respond, sometimes he wouldn't immediately, but he would, you know, we'd keep following up with him, and he did make an attempt to keep us in the loop of what was going on. And then finally, y'all, after maybe like 2 days of being in DC, sleeping on the floor in an assisted living home, the travel agent found us an airline. Now, but there was one big caveat with this airline. Originally, we were supposed to go from Atlanta to DC to Port Harcourt, which is an Igbo speaking city in Imo State, which is where we're from. However, instead of landing in Port Harcourt, we would be landing in Abuja, which is, Port Harcourt is like right here. And Abuja is the capital of Nigeria, so it's up here in the north. If we were to take a bus from Abuja to Port Harcourt, that's like an 8-hour bus ride, or 10-hour bus ride right there. And the travel agent wasn't going to help us find another flight and to reimburse us for that flight. First of all, he didn't even reimburse us for a hotel. Like, we didn't have no hotel. We was homeless, and he could not do anything about it. Like, if it weren't for our cousins and my grandma, we would be on the streets of DC, not having a place to stay. But my mom, she didn't want to let this trip go to waste. So we took the airline, and we went on the plane from DC to Ethiopian Airlines. We are now in Ethiopia. I don't know if you can tell.
That dude was on the bus. They started laughing about it.
He sure did. It was nasty. Then to Abuja. Hey guys, so we're finally here in Abuja, Nigeria, the capital. We're supposed to get an airplane, to get another plane to go to Imo State, which is the state that we're from. But it looks like all planes have, I'm about to leave. It's like all planes have stopped traveling at this time. So we're gonna stay with our cousin who lives here in Abuja and stay the night. And then tomorrow morning, go to Harcourt. Wish us luck. And apparently there were no more flights that were going from Abuja to Imo State at all, like in the next week or so. And we weren't about to wait till next week to go find another ride. Like, that wasn't gonna be an option. So we waited for about 50 minutes, probably an hour. People are staring at us, and it's really hot. Like, if y'all look around, y'all see people in like long sleeve clothing. Like, aren't y'all hot? Aren't y'all hot? Anyways, it's time to go. I really wish it was time to go, but we're gonna keep enduring here. So my mom called her friend from, I think, high school that lives in Abuja. And then we also contacted one of my cousins who lives in Abuja as well. And they brought their cars together, and we got our luggages, put them in the boots, the trunks rather, and we packed ourselves inside those two cars, and we drove to Imo State for 10 hours. About 10 hours with no GPS, no Wi-Fi, nothing really to charge our phones, and in 90-something degree weather, no AC. The car did not have AC. Have you ever driven through hell? Because I have. So, you know, we're just cruising along the hot car for about 10 hours, driving down to Imo State. We saw Enugu State, we saw a whole bunch of states, but I forgot what their names were. But I started recording again when we got to Enugu State. But the ride wasn't as smooth. I mean, nothing really is smooth in Nigeria because there's like no lanes. So people just drive however they want to drive to get where they need to be. And because of that, we got in a car crash. That was actually my mom's car that got hit. I don't even know. Well, the car she was riding in. So that man gotta pay. You gotta pay for that. That person that was at fault did not pay. Yeah, and it wasn't really a bad car crash. It was really just a bump. But it slowed us down and it was kind of scary. It was like we just wanted to go home. We just wanted to go home so bad, and then wow, we just got in a car crash. So we just kept driving, cruising around, and then bam, not another car accident. No. We got stopped. We got stopped by these strange, shady looking people that had, you know that long little plank things with the spikes on them that stop cars on Grand Theft Auto? Like these group of men, they pulled it from the bush and put it right in front of our car so that we wouldn't pass that area until we addressed them. And they stopped us because apparently our vehicle wasn't designed to be carrying all those people or whatever. So we had to pay a fee. And I believe the fee was about 20,000 Naira, which is equivalent to, I don't know, but I'll put it right here so you can see how much money we spent. And that's not, you might say that that's not a lot of money, but when you go on a trip, you already budget for what you know that's gonna happen and the unexpected things that are gonna happen on the trip. You budget for that. But we didn't budget this much money for something that was unexpected. And my uncle said later on that these people, they knew we were coming. Because it was December time, a lot of Americans are gonna come back to their homeland. They knew we were coming, so they wanted to make sure that they would get their American money's worth and stop us and pretend like they actually doing some stuff just to take our money. So that was a complete waste of money and time. That probably would have been avoided if we had not used that travel agent whatsoever. And before we got stopped by those people, my mom was gladly spending money. In Nigeria, or I think other places in Africa too, there's people that are selling things on the side of the road and they carry it on their heads. And sometimes it'll be water, sometimes it'll be indigenous fruit in Nigeria. And so she was just buying them for my siblings so that they can have something to eat and enjoy and learn a little bit about the culture and a little about the food in Nigeria. Once we got stopped by those people and they took away all of that money, she wasn't really spending that much anymore. And then finally, about 10 hours later, we were finally in my father's compound after 10 hours of no AC, no Wi-Fi. We were finally home. But even then, we were bound to run into a couple of problems. One of those problems regarding my academic standing at Mercer. Yeah, I was failing a class. And right here, I'm gonna end the video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I promise. Okay, that's not it. It's a cliffhanger, but don't worry. I'm gonna upload the next part, maybe like next week, because it's gonna be a long video. I have a lot of stuff to tell y'all, and this video already too long. Y'all probably already been clicked out the video, but if you're here right now, so far still here, I will see you guys next week with the next installment, I guess, part 2. So bye.